The Supreme Court just turned away the most significant challenge to same-sex marriage since Obergefell. What does this tell us about the state of marriage in America? What does it mean for religious liberty? Here's the point. Earlier this week, the Supreme Court rejected Kentucky County Clerk Kim Davis's legal appeal to challenge the very foundation of the Obergefell decision. This appeal was Davis's last attempt to challenge a $360,000 in damages ruling that she was ordered to pay by a judge for refusing to issue marriage licenses to same-sex couples in Rowan County, Kentucky. Davis objected to issuing the marriage licenses based on her Christian beliefs. She offered to step aside and let others issue the licenses. She even went to jail for 6 days rather than violate her conscience. A jury later awarded a gay couple $100,000 in damages plus $260,000 in attorney fees. Davis appealed all the way to the Supreme Court. The court said no, not just to Davis's defense on grounds of religious freedom, but to any consideration of overturning the Obergefell decision. Matt Staver, founder of Liberty Counsel, Davis's legal representation, said, like the abortion decision in Roe v. Wade, Obergefell was egregiously wrong from the start. We will continue to work to overturn Obergefell. It is not a matter of if, but when. Meanwhile, LGBTQ advocacy groups celebrated. Today, love won again, declared Kelly Robinson of the Human Rights Campaign. Make no mistake, this decision carries tremendous weight for both sides of the marriage debate. There are now approximately 823,000 legally recognized same-sex couples in the United States. 591,000 of them were issued marriage licenses after June of 2015, and nearly 1 in 5 of those couples are raising a child. What makes the matter even more interesting is that when or if the Supreme Court overturns Obergefell, same-sex marriage now has the backing of being federally recognized thanks to the 2022 Respect for Marriage Act signed by President Joe Biden when the Democrats controlled both chambers of Congress. So how should Christians think about the state of marriage in America? And here's the point. First, the legal battle to overturn Obergefell is far from over, but it's going to be a real climb. The Kim Davis case was never the ideal vehicle for challenging Obergefell. Legal experts on both sides acknowledged this was a long shot, but conservatives are building a multi-state movement to challenge this decision. In 2025 alone, 9 states have introduced legislation or passed resolutions urging the Supreme Court to reverse Obergefell at the earliest opportunity. Oklahoma, Michigan, Idaho, South Dakota all have put the court on notice. While it took 50 years to overturn Roe, the marriage fight may not take that long, but it will require the same dogged persistence the pro-life movement has had. The Christian view of life goes hand in hand with the Christian view of marriage. Both are designed and sanctified by God. Second, redefining marriage has devastated religious liberty and paved the way for a transgendered movement. This case isn't about the county clerk and government employees' right to do what they want to do. Christian bakers, florists, web designers, and photographers have all been harassed and sued along similar lines. Jack Phillips, the Colorado baker, who declined to create a custom cake for a same-sex wedding, has been in court for over a decade. Obergefell turned a novel constitutional right into a cudgel against religious liberty. The First Amendment has taken a back seat to same-sex marriage. And this is exactly backwards because the Constitution explicitly protects the free exercise of religion. Marriage is not mentioned once. Furthermore, children are the natural biological offspring of a man and a woman. Once you sever marriage from biological reality and the natural offspring that marriage produces, Then you make room for a degendered world. Transgender ideology is the outworking of the redefinition of marriage. Men and women's sports, gender transition surgeries of minors, pronouns in schools. This is the logical and inevitable result of gay mirage. When you reject God's design for life and marriage, chaos ensues. The Supreme Court chose chaos at Obergefell, and it is no coincidence that American support for gay marriage is at an all-time low since Obergefell, largely because of the trans movement. Third, marriage is not only in the interest of Christianity, but also in the interest of preserving and defending Western civilization. This is not hyperbole, but every great civilization in history that abandoned the biblical definition of marriage has collapsed. Western nations that were once young, prosperous, and free, holding much promise for the future, adopted policies that led to their own demise. Marriage between one man and one woman is not just the religious preference for old pearl-clutching church ladies. It's the necessary bedrock of a stable, free, and flourishing society. Gay societies die morally, spiritually, and naturally. Andrew Breitbart once said that politics is downstream from culture. True enough. But what is upstream from culture? The one institution that every culture is dependent upon is marriage. Marriage creates the next generation. Marriage transmits virtue. Marriage provides the primary basis for human flourishing. When marriage falls apart, everything else falls apart. Birth rates, family stability, economic prosperity, and national security all ride on people knowing the do's and don'ts of marriage. Christians cannot be passive on this issue. Christians cannot be silent on this issue. And Christians do not have to wait for the Supreme Court ruling to do the right thing today. Envision the society that we should have under God as prescribed by God's word and 2,000 years of history. Then fight each day to see that vision and order come to reality. Defending God's design for marriage is defending religious liberty, biological reality, and common sense. 50 years from now, our children will thank us. Our neighbors will thank us. And Western civilization, still intact and not dead from the gay rot, will also thank us. Why? Because the permanent things must win, and only the permanent things will remain. Christ is Lord over marriage. His lordship always prevails.